Hey you guys, what is up and welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Safai Kelly here with you today. For those of you who have never seen me before, hello, how you doing? Thank you so much for joining. Today we're going to be talking about how to apply foundation. There are so many different ways, tips, tricks, techniques that people use, and I'm going to share my favorite ways to achieve the best base ever. There are so many different ways and techniques that people use to apply their foundation, but today I'm going to share with you a few of my favorite ways and some tips and tricks that I use that I like when I am applying my foundation. First and foremost, before we even touch foundation, we want to start off with a primer, okay? Primer is so important, and you can really utilize the primer so that you can get the best out of your foundation. For example, oily but you love dewy foundations, you might want to try a mattifying primer to kind of combat the dewiness from the foundation, and vice versa with matte foundations and dry skin. You might want to try a hydrating primer to kind of combat the matteness of the foundation. And if you know your normal combo, you can kind of mix in between and choose whatever you'd like best to suit your skin and how you'd like the finish of your foundation to end up being. So now that the primer is on, it is definitely time for foundation. Now there are so many different types of foundations and formulations. Personally, like the liquid formula of foundation, but you can use stick foundation, you can use more of a creamy mousse foundation, but your girl here is going to be using liquid. So when it comes to applying foundation, there are different tools that you can use to apply foundation, one being a brush, or you could also use a beauty sponge to go ahead and apply your foundation. And then some people also use their hands. I am not a hands-in kind of person, so I'm definitely going to be using a brush. But to ensure that I have a really good coverage with my foundation, I like to apply my foundation to the back of my hand, like so, and then I'll take my finger, I'm getting a little messy here, and I'm going to go ahead and apply and distribute my foundation all over my face before I go in with my brush. And this will ensure that you get good coverage. So my tool of choice is definitely going to be a brush, and I love a flathead kind of brush when applying my foundation. They're more dense and will really give me that coverage. The more loose your bristles are, the lighter coverage you can get. So I'm gonna go ahead and start blending out this foundation. And you can see already I'm not having any thin spots because I pre-distributed the foundation onto my face. So everything is going to be a really great canvas. A nice little thing to keep in mind, if you did want to work with less foundation, you didn't want to distribute it all over your face first, what you can do is if you pump the foundation onto a brush or onto a palette and dip your brush in it, you want to start from the middle and work outwards. You don't want to end up with more product on the out. You always want to start with more in kind of the central area of your face and spread out. All right, so our foundation has been done being applied, but when I think of foundation, I think of complexion as a whole. And for me, that deals with bringing in light and shadows to the face. So I'm talking about using concealer in a lighter tone and a deeper tone to add highlights and contours to the face. I'm first going to start off with adding light into my face, and I'm using the I Am Magic concealer in the shade 16. I'm going to go ahead and apply this right underneath my eyes. And I'm also going to place it where I'd like to bring some light to my face. I know right now it looks a little crazy, but you gotta trust the process. And my preferred tool for blending this formula out is definitely gonna be a beauty sponge. I'm gonna go ahead and start using this stippling motion to go ahead and blend out the product we just put down. We are looking airbrushed and flawless. Just by adding the light into my face, you can see how it accentuates the features that I have, and I absolutely love that. We have the foundation done and we have the lighter concealer done, which is bringing back light into my face, and it really is building the foundation for the rest of whatever look you are trying to create, which is why when I hear foundation, I think of them as layers. Your base foundation for your complexion, then you bring the light back using a lighter concealer, and then adding some shadows using a deeper concealer or contour shade. shade. Adding some contours and bringing shadows into the face to further sculpt and define some of our features, I'm using the I Am Magic Concealer in the shade 3. So with this product, I'm gonna place this right on the back of my hand so I have more control with what I'm doing. And I'm going to work this product onto the brush. Now that I have the product on the brush, I am going to go where I would normally contour, bronze, all of that fun stuff. And I'm going to lightly start working this product in. I am also doing the same thing onto the other side. Now you could totally go in and put this concealer right onto the face, but I feel like I have more control when I put it on the back of my hand and slowly dip the product onto the brush. And so you see we've created kind of that harsh line. You can go ahead and take your beauty sponge and go right over that line, and it blends everything out like a dream. I am now going to start working this color onto the forehead and start blending. See, now that we have created such a flawless application, I'm happy where everything is. It is definitely time to go ahead and set everything in place. So taking your preferred setting powders, what you're going to be using to go ahead and set everything in place, and I usually like to start underneath the eyes. Before setting anything, I always like to make sure and blend out any creases we may have, because we don't want to set the creases. On the under eye area, I'm going to go in with that beauty sponge again, just to make sure that we blend out any creases right before we go in with our powder, and just set that in place. I'm also going to set right in between my brows and my forehead. These are places that usually tend to collect more oil and be a little bit more oily than the rest of the face. For anyone that struggles with laugh lines and creasing here, a great way to make sure that we can last longer in our makeup without that happening is you're gonna puff out your cheeks and set that area with powder. And then anywhere else that you feel like you need to have the powder because you know you get oily there, go ahead, feel free, and lightly dust powder over in those areas. So right now you can see that we have a very even, beautiful, flawless foundation that has been applied. This is a great canvas to start with for any look that you are going to create. Look at our foundation. Honestly, we're looking face-tuned, Photoshop, who is she? Like, this is what a flawless base looks like. We are ready for any look we want to achieve and create. I'm so happy that I was able to share with you some of my favorite tips and tricks on how to achieve a flawless foundation application. I know foundation can be tricky sometimes and maybe hard, so hopefully you can use this advice in your own foundation routine. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Once again, my name is Safai Kelly, and I will see you guys soon. Bye, tribe.